Hey Zen fam, so we have a leak. Yes, indeed. We have a picture taken of a PlayStation VR 2 on somebody's leather chair. We don't know where, we don't know who, we don't know how, but the photo is here, it exists, and oh, it looks tasty. Would you look at that? That is something else. Now, obviously, there's debates to be had. It's wired. So people are going to go, oh, but there are other headsets on the market that aren't wired and therefore they're better. Yeah, they're better for not tripping over a wire, but with having a wire, you cut out latency, or at least virtually cut out latency. I mean, there's a tiny bit, but there's as much latency as you would get in a game controller. So, that's pretty decent. So, but there's always latency when you're, broadcasting Wi-Fi signal to a separate thing. It's got to interpolate the signal and do the back and forth of the data. So there's going to be a little bit of delay in how things are done. Now, admittedly, you could have awesome Wi-Fi. And that's true, you can have awesome Wi-Fi, but there's Wi-Fi limitations to the PlayStation 5. If you're going to be using Wi-Fi headset, like you've got your Pulse 3D headset on, and by the way, from the look of the strap around the PSVR 2, it looks like it will accommodate that, much as the PlayStation VR accommodated the Platinum headset. So that's a nice thing to mention. So chances are you'll have that headset on. So will you be able to have a Wi-Fi VR headset with a Wi-Fi headphones headset at the same time? I don't know if you could send two Wi-Fi signals from the same machine for two separate devices at the same time. I don't know if that is a thing. If it is a thing, obviously tell me down below and say, Sandblock, you're wrong. Here is how, and detail it away and show me up for the nothing fool that I am. Okay, but here's the thing, right? When you have a cable like that, you have a power supply coming to the machine. So if you have a power supply coming to the machine, you don't have to worry about internal batteries, which means either you don't have to change batteries, or you don't have to worry about a battery on a unit that you're going to have for quite some time, eventually over time taking less and less and less of a charge. So there's a plus there. But back and forth we can go on and on and on for days and days and days. But what I'd like to do now is I'd like to whoop down into the corner. So I'll do that now. So here I am in the corner and we're going to look up at different aspects of this photo. First of all, we're going to investigate these little baggies here. Now, look up at them. What do we see? It's kind of hard to make out, especially as I've obviously had to blow this image up considerably so. But it looks to me like these are wrist straps. And there are two of them. And there's two, of the new controllers, which, as I did specify in the video before, when these controllers were first leaked, that they would probably, when the finished article would come out, make them white to match the system and to match the PS5 itself and to match all the other PS5 peripherals. The camera, the headset, the system itself, all the stuff for PlayStation 5, has initially come out in white. Now, does this mean there'll also be add-on skins or add-on cases to make the controllers and the headset different colours? Who's to say? But there could be a market for that. Of course, it would also depend on how easy they are to fit. Anyway, so we got these two baggies here, which are probably wrist straps. Maybe other forms of cabling too. But wrist straps are going to be vitally important for anybody that's ever played VR. Or if you haven't played VR, cast your mind back to the Nintendo Wii and how important those Wiimote wrist straps are. Or were rather. Remember all the stories of all the broken tellies? Yeah, Zenbloke remembers. Ho ho! Oh yes indeed. Right, so this next picture, we get a look at the controllers. And mighty nice they look too, it has to be said. I mean, the nice layout, it looks like a really ergonomic design. And chances are, the haptic feedback will be in the controllers. And, as well, if we look at the headset here, the headset is also said to have haptic feedback, which should be interesting. So you'll be able to get like haptic feedback around your head. So like, say if you're probably like I don't know, in a rally game or something, you can feel the vibration of the road, you know, in your head and in your hands as you drive. Could be interesting, you know, or other such things. Or maybe sort of like you have a character that takes a knock to the head, so you feel a dunk. Obviously not a big dunk, but enough to let you have the idea that you've been hit in the back of the head, you know. Or maybe you close like a space helmet or something, and you'll feel that shunk as the visor of the helmet closes. There's tons and tons of options that go beyond, oh, like pulling an arrow in a bow with the two threads. But also, if you look at this image, you'll see that on the side there's a turny dial. Now, what's that turny dial for? Could it be for a more accurate form of focusing the lenses? Because I don't know how many of you out there have used the PSVR, but basically to sort the lenses out, what you basically had to do was you actually adjusted the headset in its housing a little bit back and forth till you got to the desired focal length for your eyes. You could also do a little bit of changing of the screen resolution and focus there in deeper in the settings. But basically most of it was done by moving the actual unit back and forth on a slider in the actual arms that held the business end of the headset. So there's that, you know. Or it could be for something else. Maybe it could be for setting the intensity or lack thereof of the haptics. But I don't imagine they'd leave it to that. I think they'd leave that as more a setting that's electronic and on screen, because that could get brushed. And next thing you know, you got more haptics than you want. Or it could just be a brightness meter. But then again, that whole issue of brushed by accident. But I like to think it's a focusing knob. Probably. And then of course we also see these 4 black spots. Now, for those of you that have been paying attention out there in the Zen fam, and hello to new people as well, this is the example we're finally getting to have a good look at the inside out tracking. Because as you may remember, PlayStation VR is a holdover from PlayStation 4. And PlayStation VR had to use the PlayStation Move controllers, which has a holdover from PlayStation 3. So you had these Move controllers with the glowing balls and the actuators and accelerometers inside the Move controllers that detected the movement and position of the controllers, and then that was also coupled with the visual information that the PlayStation camera, you know, could actually pick up. And then that was transferred over that to the eventual PlayStation VR. In fact, if you go back and look at it, there are pictures online of the PlayStation VR test kit, which was basically the old Sony mobile viewing unit headset thing with 2 PlayStation Moves gaffer taped to it. So, you know, it literally was designed that way from the beginning by Dr. Richard Marks. Anyway, so you have this, you know, you've got the 4 lights here and here, which like wrap around the sort of outer housing of the sort of screen part, and you had the 2 lights that were on the back of the actual, you know, head tightening bit, you know, at the back of the headset that held it onto your cranium. Ooh, cranium. Okay, so you had those 6 lights that helped with the general positioning in virtual space of the PlayStation VR. So what we've got now is we've got 4 cameras. They'll all be pointed in a slightly different direction, probably like that, like that, like that. And they'll be able to tell the PlayStation VR 2 where it is in space, so then it can accurately represent where you are in the virtual space much more accurately than the PlayStation Move technology. Because as good as PlayStation Move technology was, we're talking about a standard of technology that's what, like 9-10 years old now. So yeah, we've moved on, and visual tracking of space and virtual space is far more advanced now. So inside out tracking it is, and that should also be more power efficient. And to be fair, it also means that you don't have to have lights on a controller, and you don't have to worry so much about the lighting conditions of your room for the unit to be able to detect where it is in space, and for the unit to be detected where it is in space. Because your PlayStation camera type thing on your PlayStation 4, or if you had the dongle, you know, you could put the PlayStation 4 camera into your PlayStation 5 and do it that way. But it was still a camera looking at where you were by use of lights. So we got this unit, and it does look really, really nice. Let's go back to full screen. So here I am again, and just looking at this thing, it is really nice. I mean, that one cable looks very, very sturdy. The whole thing just has a really nice aesthetic. It's smooth, it's clean, it's very minimalistic. It's not all kinds of mad curves and swooshy edges and stuff. It's just very, very simple, and I like that sense of minimalism. Now, we don't know price, we don't know release date. We know about some software that's coming to it. I mean, the Horizon, what's it, Call of the Mountain is coming, and there's a few other things here and there. The main question is, will this puppy be able to play PlayStation VR games, considering most PlayStation 4 software is compatible on PlayStation 5? Which means how will they get around the changing of normal PlayStation Lite tracking to PlayStation VR 2 inside out tracking? I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth argy-bargy. It might be the case that a lot of third party PlayStation VR games might not survive the move, and it might only be first party studios and maybe a couple of the bigger studios, like some of the stuff that Ubisoft did. Like Ubisoft did Star Trek Bridge Command, and they did Eagle Flight. Now trust me, both of those games are a lot of fun, especially Eagle Flight. I love that game, it was so chill. I've spoken on this channel before about Eagle Flight, so I'll not go on about it. But nevertheless, this unit here, oh yeah, I'm intrigued, I'm interested, I want it. Now, however, it's going to take some doing. I mean, I still have 130 quid in my game account, you know, in my game wallet. However, I suspect this is going to cost them more than 130 quid. I mean, when PlayStation VR came out, that was like 350 as memory serves. I'm pretty sure it was about 350 quid. I'm not sure what it was in USD or any other global currency, but pretty sure here on this wet little island it was 350 quid. And I had saved up for it well ahead of schedule, and I was there day one. PlayStation VR please. Got it home, and I loved it for many a year. And admittedly, I'm trying to sell mine, but game won't take it because COVID. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to eventually take it to like CX or something and probably get a lot less for it. But you know, them's the breaks. Or unless you want a cheap PlayStation VR, then hit me up on the Twitter and like make a bid, and we'll sort something out. Anyway, I just thought I'd share this leaked image with you guys and see what you thought and let you know what I think. And I'm excited. I think the next generation of home console VR is so far looking quite promising. Now, yes, of course, it's not going to be able to compete in certain ways with some of the other PC driven VR options, but then it's not meant to. PlayStation has always done its own thing when it comes to new proprietary technology, and they were the first ones on the block to make VR affordable to the masses. So I think there's interesting things afoot for PlayStation VR 2, and obviously stick around, because if there's news to bring, your boy Zembloke here will bring it to you. Okay guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. You know the drill by now. Hashtag support Scottish YouTubers. And of course, as always, aye, nae bother.